Hi, I'm Jill Grifenhagen. I'm an assistant professor of elementary literacy at NC State University, and I'm going to do a close reading today of a fourth grade text, The One and Only Ivan by Katherine Applegate. In this section of the text, the main character, Ivan, who is a gorilla, is having a conversation with his friend Stella, an elephant. "Tell us the Jumbo story," I say. "It's a favorite of mine, but I don't think that Bob has ever heard it." Because she remembers everything, Stella knows many stories. I like colorful tales with black beginnings and stormy middles and cloudless blue sky endings. But any story will do. I'm not in a position to be picky. When I read this text, I first noticed that the narrator, Ivan, says, "Tell us the Jumbo story," just like a child might ask a parent to tell a story. The author is signaling to me that Stella is like a parent to Ivan. When she writes, "Because she remembers everything," the author continues to show that Ivan admires or looks up to Stella. This tells me something about their relationship. Next, I see the author uses figurative language to describe the kinds of stories Ivan likes. She uses weather metaphors for feelings. Black beginnings would be sad, stormy middles might include a problem or conflict, and cloudless blue sky endings suggests happy endings. I'll read on. "Once upon a time," Stella begins, "there was a human boy. He was visiting a gorilla family at a place called the zoo." "What's a zoo?" Bob asks. "He's a street-smart dog, but there's much he hasn't seen." "A good zoo," Stella says, "is a large domain, a wild cage, a safe place to be. It has room to roam and humans who don't hurt." She pauses, considering her words. A good zoo is how humans make amends. Stella moves a bit, groaning softly. "The boy stood on a wall," she continues, "watching, pointing, but he lost his balance and fell into the cage." "Humans are clumsy," I interrupt. "If only they would knuckle walk, they wouldn't topple so often." This section where Stella describes the zoo seems really important. She talks about the zoo in a lot of detail and with passion and emotion. This makes me think that the author might be foreshadowing something about the zoo, that a zoo will be important later in the story. I also noticed how the author highlights the point of view of the main character, who is writing in first person. In this case, the story is written from the perspective of Ivan, a gorilla. It's easy to forget that, because Ivan is intelligent and uses human language. But this sentence, "humans are clumsy," reminds me that the narrator is not human, and contrasts the gorilla point of view with that of a human. Stella nods. "A good point, Ivan." In any case, the boy lay in a motionless heap, while the humans gasped and cried. The silverback, whose name was Jumbo, examined the boy, as was his duty, while the troop watched from a safe distance. Jumbo stroked the child gently. He smelled the boy's pain, and then he stood watch. The words the author chooses to use to describe the actions of Jumbo, who's also a silverback, send me a message as the reader. His actions he examined at a safe distance. He stroked the boy. He stood watch. These all suggest that Jumbo is kind and protective. This contrasts with the human point of view of the silverback gorilla, where it says the humans gasped and cried. They were afraid of what the gorilla would do to the boy. But his actions were gentle. I think the author is also trying to tell us something about Ivan with the story, showing that Ivan as a silverback would be kind and gentle as well. Thank you for listening to my close reading of The One and Only Ivan.